What's up, everybody? I'm Mckenty. This is my second channel, and this is your home for my Twitch highlights and my podcast. So if you like this and you want to see more of that and you want to join the live streams, there's a link to that in the description of this video. And with that out of the way, now it is time for the return of one of our most popular segments here, the front person tier list. This is not the front man tier list. This is the front person tier list, because this tier list is open to everybody. Men, women, non-binary folks, it doesn't matter to me. Everyone is welcome here on the tier list. That is what we're here to talk about today. The best front people, or the worst, whatever. And we're going to rank them in two ways. One is, how good are they at what they do? Talent, charisma, all that kind of stuff. The second criteria is, how much do I want to be friends with this person? Because ultimately, both of those things have to count, right? Like if somebody is just so absolutely incredible at what they do, for example, Mariah Carey, you got to give them some recognition for that, even if you don't want to be friends with them. For example, Mariah Carey. Absolutely incredible, but do I want to hang out with her? I don't think I do. Let's start with someone who comes up quite a bit in my videos, Ronald Joseph Radke. Well, the first question is, which version of Ronnie do we choose? Do we go with the old school Ronnie, back when he looked like a hot rocker chick, like the Joan Jett hot rocker chick? Or do we go with the new school Ronnie that we know and love from Falling in Reverse? I think I will go with new school Ronnie. You know, you could kind of divide that up. There could be a separate entry for new school and old school Ronnie, it's true, but we'll just keep it simple for now. So the question is, where does Ronnie belong? If our first category is how good is this person at what they do, I'd say Ronnie's pretty damn good. You know, in terms of charisma, in terms of vocal ability and songwriting, I think he's a pretty well-rounded frontman, clearly great at getting attention, right? I mean, that is Ronnie's strong point. He is incredibly good at staying in the public conversation. Here he is, 15 years into the game. Still relevant. That's no accident. Ronnie knows what he's doing. So I think he's pretty damn good at what he does. Would I like to be friends with him? Well, here's the thing. I've never met Ronnie. I talk to him sometimes on Instagram. He seems like a cool guy. But I'm afraid that if I beat Ronnie at a video game, he might have a tantrum. He might get mad at me. I feel like Ronnie's the kind of guy that would lose at Smash Brothers and then blame the controller. And then say that, it's getting late and he's got to go to bed and just turn it off in the middle of the game. That's what I think. But I would like to be friends with him. I'd be friends with Ronnie. I'm going to put him on the A tier. Maybe stick around long enough and he might make it up to the S tier. But for now, I think A is where it belongs. He is kind of alpha. It's true. He's kind of alpha. That's why I think he wouldn't handle it well if I beat him at a video game. Because he's too alpha for that. Who's next? Danny Worsnop. Okay, that's a good one. I mean, I've talked about him before, but I'm going to continue to talk about him. This version of Danny here, he's got an American flag hat with an AR-15 on it. His shirt has the same thing on it. So this looks like Danny during his Red State Rock Festival phase, or his phase where he transformed himself from a British metalcore singer to an American country singer. And for those of you who may not be aware, let's look. That's right. Looks like he enjoys a nice cup of Black Rifle coffee. Exactly. Let's look here. You guys may not have been aware that this existed. This is from way back in 2016. His solo album.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling sunshine, chasing with the skyline, sipping on something chilly.
Now, I want to know who this guy is. This guy here in the witchy Coachella hat, in the American flag Speedo. That is my man. This is an interesting shot.
An ice cold bottle of Bud. I'm driving my ass to Mexico.
An ice cold bottle of Bud. I'm driving my ass to Mexico. Is this Mexico, or is this just like some random beach in Orange County? Looks like El Segundo or something. That's right. He went from scene kid to hair metal guy to country dad. It's true. Now, I will say though, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Probably the best vocalist in this whole scene. This guy is fucking good. This song is, maybe a little bit corny, but god damn it, he is a good fucking vocalist. But damn, he's good. don't have to like it, but he's fucking good. I totally agree. Top 5 in terms of talent from anything rock-based to 2005 to 2015. I agree. Guy's fucking incredible. And respect for, you know, really maybe only Kid Rock can give him a run for his money in terms of adopting so many different subcultural identities over the years. And really, what a dramatic one. To go from, you know, British scene kid to Black Rifle Coffee Club country singer. Impressive. You got to respect that, I think. I respect the LARPing. So the question is, where does he belong? Well, clearly, anybody who denies his vocal talents is stupid. The guy's fucking incredible. Like, just like non-ironically, you can think what you want about his music, but he's a fucking great vocalist. Anyone who says otherwise is just stupid. Do I want to be friends with him? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I feel like Danny is probably awesome when he's like being good Danny. He's probably super cool, and he's probably like, man, I like that guy. That was fun. You go out to dinner with him and his wife, and you're like, that guy's fucking cool. I like that guy. But then when he's having a bad day, maybe had a couple drinks, when he's being bad Danny, not at his best, I bet he's a fucking asshole. That would be my guess. So I feel like I would like to be casual friends with Danny, not like BFFs, like we hang out too much, but, you know, maybe we go on like group dates, you know, with like us and a few other couples. So if Danny's getting weird, we can just kind of avoid him and, you know, go hang out with one of the other couples. Exactly. Acquaintance in passing. With that said, I'd put him on the B tier. Incredible vocalist, but a little bit too much of a wild cannon. I think a loose cannon or a wild card for me to be comfortable being friends with him. Brandon Boyd of Incubus. That's a good one. We're going to find prime Brandon Boyd from the 2000s, though. There we go. That's the Brandon Boyd that I fell in love with on Pinterest. An ode to Brandon Boyd. Okay, I'm not really an Incubus fan, but I needed to put Brandon Boyd on here. Well, because he is hot with 2 T's, and he has great looking surferish kind of hair. Oh, and the gauge makes him look even hotter. Tee-hee. That's what Kelsey West says, and I agree. I think Kelsey's right. I like his great looking surferish hair. What a handsome guy. I'll be honest, I haven't really listened to Incubus in a long time. I remember when they were kind of on the nu metal side of things, but Wish You Were Here was their big hit, as I recall. I haven't really paid attention to how good of a vocalist he is. Let's listen. I do remember at the time thinking, you know, if I looked like that without a shirt on, I wouldn't even own a shirt. Why would you ever bother putting a shirt on if you look this good without one? It was a regrettable thing back then in the early 2000s when bands thought they needed to have a DJ. Spoiler warning, nobody needed one. Mistakes were made. The DJ was never a good idea. That's right. No shoes, no shirt, no service except for Brandon.
Dig my toes into the sand.
And that PRS guitar tone does kind of sound like Red Hot Chili Peppers, doesn't it? Yeah, I would say this is kind of mid. Not bad, but I don't think it's great. Are people from California just naturally more attractive than the rest of us? I actually think that they are. Dr. Drew talked about this once, especially like, you know, Southern California. His hypothesis is that because so many people have moved there over the years to make it in the entertainment business, and obviously most of them didn't, but still a lot of beautiful people moved there trying to get into entertainment. They have kids and those kids have kids. And so like his hypothesis is that the gene pool in California actually is full of people who are like freakishly attractive. I think it's true. You know, you go to Orange County and like nobody there's like under a 7, you know, like there's the saying about like an LA 10, you know, like an Ohio 10 is not the same thing as an LA 10. A guy or a girl who's like a 9 in Ohio is like a 6 or a 7 in Orange County. I think it's real. Now, the question is, where does Brandon Boyd belong? I don't think he's a fantastic vocalist. Not terrible, but I don't think he's fantastic. Do think he's a very good-looking man, but I don't think he's a fantastic vocalist. Do I want to be friends with him? You know, I don't know the guy, but I do know their manager. I knew the guy who managed them for like 20 years or whatever. Seems like kind of your typical diva sort of singer. Not a bad guy by any means, but probably a little bit too unstable for me. But still, seems like the kind of guy you could just go get a fish taco with him and have a Corona down by the beach. You know, maybe start a bonfire and have some kind of like really kind of annoying, fake, deep conversation with him. He'll tell you all about like the meaning of life and, you know, what God means to him and rah, 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 rah. You know, just go on and on and on because he's so gorgeous. He's used to everyone sort of indulging him. So would I want to be friends with him? I mean, I wouldn't not want to be friends with him per se, but I don't know if he would be one of my top bros. I mean, you can't put him below Danny Worsnop, right? I mean, couldn't do that. Well, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It's a tough one. We'll put him on the B tier. It doesn't feel right putting him below Danny Worsnop, does it? We can't do that. So we'll put him on the B tier. Okay. Who's next? Austin Carlisle. That's a good one. Austin Carlisle, formerly of Mice and Men and Attack Attack. Not a good person. I'm not going to get into all the allegations against him because, you know, there are legal issues and whatnot, but you can look it up. I do not know Austin, but I know lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people who know him. He used to live in Columbus. I used to live in Columbus. We have many mutual friends. I have never once heard somebody be like, you know what, Austin Carlisle, he's a great guy. I love Austin. He's awesome. Never once heard anybody say that about him in, you know, whatever, the 15 years or so that we've had mutual friends. Never heard somebody say Austin Carlisle's a great person. Especially what really grinds my gears about him is for some reason he decided that he was like this motivational figure like around whatever 2011 or something like that. Life will never put you through more than you can handle. It gets better. I promise. Austin Carlisle. For some reason, he decided he was like Mr. Metalcore Savior. Your uniqueness is your strength. Remember that. Don't mold yourself to others or to what others think. You're an individual. You're special. For one, I mean, the message in general is just kind of cringe, but it's like a fifth grader wrote that. And who knows if it's even really him. But anyway, he sucks. Not a great vocalist either. Not a great person. I don't want to be friends with Austin Carlisle. I don't even want to be in the same room as him. We'll put him in the F tier. I don't think anyone's going to argue with me on that one. That's that. There's our F tier. Jared Leto. There's another good one. He is an interesting case. For one, did you know this motherfucker is 50 years old? Look at that. I don't know what is coming out of his mouth here, but it's got to be like the blood of like 50 virgins or something like that, because the dude looks like he's fucking 28 and he would look good for a 28-year-old. That is disgusting. It's the adrenochrome. That's right. That's adrenochrome. No, you would not want to hang out with Jared Leto. Let me put it this way. I was going to do a video about Jared Leto and like how people think he's a cult leader and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, he seems like kind of a douche, but like, how bad could it be? Well, I got into it. There's a bunch of allegations against him, which I'm not going to comment on for legal reasons. But let's just say this. I scrapped my idea for a Jared Leto video because I didn't feel comfortable talking about him. And instead, I decided to make a video about Gigi Allen. I was like, you know what? Jared Leto's too touchy. Let me make a video about something safer, Gigi Allen. That's where I'm at with Jared Leto. Now, I will say, he is actually not a bad vocalist. 30 Seconds to Mars is a pretty good band. Although it's kind of weird that when he did this, he was like 35 here. So he started his emo phase when he was 34. He's a fantastic actor. A very solid singer, too. A one-hit wonder? That's not true. They have like 5 Billboard Top 10 albums. 30 Seconds to Mars is a big fucking band. A pretty good vocalist, incredible actor. But sometimes there are people where you say, despite all of that, such a rotten person, I'll put him on the D tier above Austin Carlisle because he may be an equally crappy person as Austin Carlisle, but at least he's more talented. I think that's a fair place for Jared Leto. All I'm saying is, you know, if you are so sketchy that I choose to make a video about Gigi Allen instead, tells you something. Scott Weiland. Okay. Of Stone Temple Pilots and Velvet Revolver. You know what? He doesn't get enough credit Stone Temple Pilots in general don't get enough credit. I don't think he had an average voice at all. I think he had a very interesting voice. I think he's actually quite a good singer on a technical level. Oh yeah, people hated Stone Temple Pilots. They were fake grunge back then. And Velvet Revolver, also underrated. The drip level in this video is just absolutely incredible too. I mean, look at this. Slash wearing 2 chain wallets, daisy chained together. Incredible. Yeah, I agree with that. Coming from a technical standpoint, his voice is one of the better voices of the grunge era. Riding your motorcycle to the methadone clinic core. I think he's quite a strong vocalist, actually. Like, this is a damn good vocal performance. Anyway, Scott Weiland, where does he fit? I think that he was a fantastic vocalist. I wouldn't say like the best of all time, but pretty damn good. Underrated as a vocalist. Would I want to be friends with him? You know, seems like actually a nice dude, but you know, hanging out with junkies, I can't do it. But you know, sober Scott Weiland, I feel like he'd be a cool dude. Might be a little bit too much of an addict for me to really be able to hang out with him. You know what? I can't put him on the C tier. I can't. That's not right. I'm going to put him on the A tier. Tortured soul. C is not fair. We can't put him below Ronnie Radke. We can't do that. A barbecue friend. There we go. Oh, I like that term. Barbecue friend. That is a perfect term. Amy Lee of Evanescence. I need to do a video about Evanescence one of these days. Very interesting kind of trajectory with them, because that is a band that had absolutely zero currency, like when they came out in 1999, 2000, whenever it was. If you liked Evanescence, that was like the absolute most poser shit you could possibly be into. There is nothing less credible than Evanescence in 1999. Just absolute poser trash, according to the people who decide these things, right? I'm not saying that's my opinion, because you guys know I don't care about that stuff. But in the eyes of the people who decide these things, that's how they saw Evanescence. But actually, they're a pretty damn good band. And over time, people have come around and sort of retconned them into being credible, as they always do. And they really got a raw deal. Call Me When You're Sober, great song. She has a great voice, too. Like, I would say, out of all the nu metal vocalists, if you want to call them nu metal, I would say that she is probably the strongest vocalist in that entire genre. Corey Taylor's pretty damn good, but I think she's like the strongest vocalist in all of nu metal. Would I like to be friends with her? I think I would. I don't know that much about her, but she seems nice, so I'm going to put her in the A tier. And I do need to do a video about Evanescence. I'm going to make a note of that right now, actually. A for Amy, but also A for awesome, because I think Evanescence is an awesome band, and I don't really know that much about her, but she seems like an awesome person, too. So there we go. Johnny Rotten's a good one. Let's do Johnny Rotten. Johnny Rotten of the Sex Pistols. Now, I'm confused because I feel like I'm the only person who likes the Sex Pistols. Whenever they come up, people always seem to sort of imply that they're a horrible band, and I actually think they're good. Started listening to them when I was in like 6th or 7th grade. I think they're a good band. I don't really understand why people think they're terrible. Yeah, their guitar sound is great. I think his vocals are great too. I think these songs are really well written. Like, I think this album is fucking great. He has a grating voice. Yeah, totally. But that's the point. It's supposed to be grating. This is one of the best punk songs of all time, in my opinion. Pretty Vacant is great. Yeah. I think this album holds up. That's right. They're not a real punk band. They're like The Clash. They got hate because they fall into the normie punk category, like Dead Kennedys, Circle Jerks, and the Casualties. Everyone thinks the Dead Kennedys are great. I mean, they're okay, but like, I don't know. I think this is a fucking great album. These songs are fucking incredible. These are just like legitimately really good rock songs. And for the genre, I think he's actually a good vocalist. Technically speaking, obviously not great, but for punk, I mean, like it fits for the genre. That's what I think. Nobody, including him, is going to accuse him of being some sort of technically proficient singer, but, you know, he's got a vibe, and that's what punk is all about. So I think he's actually a good vocalist for the genre. Do I want to be friends with him? Well, does anybody want to be friends with John Lydon, Johnny Rotten? Is there anybody out there who's like, man, you know what would make my life better is if I was friends with Johnny Rotten. I love that guy. I want to have him over for a barbecue. No. Nobody has said that about Johnny Rotten ever. There's a part of me that would sort of like to have him over for a barbecue just to say that I had Johnny Rotten over for a barbecue, but I feel like I might regret that. Be like, oh God, why did we do that? I thought it'd be funny to have him over, and it was funny for like 5 minutes, but now we won't leave. This is horrible. What have I done? Why did I invite Johnny Rotten over for a barbecue? That's what I think about him. So I'm going to put him on the C tier. How about Tati from Ginger? We've probably all seen this before, right? 64 million views, Jesus. Excellent vocalist. And so, you know, the twist here, of course, you got Pretty Girl doing pretty clean vocals in the first half of the song. But then, holy shit, she starts doing this. It is music for nerds, but man, this band is legit. Great drummer. Everyone in this band is fucking good. I don't really like their music necessarily, but watch them like play live. Shit, like, God, everyone in this band is so fucking good. The reason I suggest listening to a live recording is because so many bands in this genre are like super fake and they sample, replace, and edit everything and blah, blah, blah. Not so with Ginger. They're fucking legit. She is awesome. Really can't say enough good things about her. I do not know too much about her as a person, but as I recall, isn't she married to Alex from Suicide Silence? Is that right? I think so. Anyway. I know Alex a bit. He's a great guy. So I'm going to assume that if she is married to Alex, that she is also a cool person. Fantastic vocalist. I would like to be friends with her. Just in terms of like commercial success, you know, they're not really quite on the level of Falling in Reverse or Stone Temple Pilots or Evanescence. So I'm going to put her on the B tier, but that's not a bad thing. B is solid. She's up there with Danny Worsnop and Brandon Boyd. So I would say not a damn thing wrong with the beach here. Layne Staley, how about that? Holy shit. Like one of the best rock voices of all time. As much as I hate all the people who like copy his style, you know, he is sort of partly responsible for Yarling, right? Like all the people who try to do his type of shit. Yarling is sort of a combination of people imitating him, Eddie Vedder, and Kurt Cobain, right? It's like everyone's bad imitation of the three of them. But holy fuck, I mean, anybody who tells you that Layne Staley isn't on the S tier just has straight up horrible taste. The man is fucking incredible. Like every recording they did is like brilliant. Pulled it all off live. His lyrics are just crushing and brutal, like absolutely incredible. One of the best of all time. And not just because he died. You know, I think we have a tendency to like anytime someone dies, like we want to say everything they did is great and awesome. I don't think that's true. I think some people who died were not great musicians. But Layne Staley, S tier, that's what I think. Would I like to be friends with him? You know, there's another case where when somebody is this much of an addict, I can't say that I'm going to invite them over for a barbecue, just because, you know, they show up wasted and you never know what they're going to do. But, you know, maybe in an alternate universe where Layne Staley got sober, I would say in that case, sober Layne Staley, probably an awesome dude who I would definitely like to have over, definitely like to be friends with. Just, you know, maybe not addict Layne Staley. Outside of his drug use, by all accounts, he seemed like a very likable dude. I agree with that. Everlast, that's a good one. From House of Pain. This is the whitest song of all time. This is more like aggressively white even than Macklemore. Like I would say Macklemore is the whitest shit of all time, but like Macklemore is ashamed of being white. House of Pain is like aggressively white. I'm not saying they're like, you know, racist or something like that. I just mean that this is a song that like white dudes are like fucking into this, you know? Trailer Park White, exactly. For a certain type of white guy, if you play this song, he's like, oh yeah, this is my shit. This is going to get him fired up. It is extremely white. I don't care what people in the rap scene thought of them. This is a white anthem. There is no way around that. White as ever been. White boys getting turned with this in the background. Exactly. But it's a good song. It's catchy. You know, it's a wildly popular song for a reason. And his solo stuff is not something I would ever listen to. What It's Like, that's his big song, right? Not a great vocalist, but it gets the job done. I mean, this beard, the chin strap, I mean, this kind of chin strap is the most aggressively white facial hair, by the way. Some of you might think that it's like, you know, the handlebar mustache or the biker beard. You're wrong. The chin strap is the most aggressively white form of facial hair. I feel like a guy with a chin strap is like 52 times more likely to start a fight with you than any other kind of facial hair. You see somebody with a chin strap, just, you know, put on your gloves because it's very likely to go down. So with that said, where do we think he fits? You know, I'll be honest, I hate House of Pain and I hate his music, his solo stuff. I would never, ever, ever, ever in a million years choose to listen to it. You know, so I don't think he's a fantastic vocalist or musician. But he seems like a super cool guy. I'll put him on the C tier. You know, limited musical ability, but super likable guy. So I'll put him on the C tier. Howard Jones, that's a good one. How could we not have him on this list? Incredible vocalist. I mean, I think of that generation of metalcore, clearly like the best, right? In terms of just like straight up vocals, nobody in that generation of metalcore is better than Howard, I don't think. And like anybody who says otherwise is high. Howard is the best of that whole generation. No question about it. Would I want to be his friend? Yeah, why not? I would invite him to the barbecue. Yeah, he seems like a little bit of an odd guy, but I would invite him. Seems like a good dude. You know, we have lots of mutual friends. I've never heard a bad thing about Howard other than like he smokes a lot of weed and he's maybe a little bit weird, but you know, what's new? That's hardly the worst thing that a singer could do, considering that we have Austin Carlisle and Jared Leto on this list as well. If all he does is smoke a little weed, that's not so bad. So I would put him on the A tier. Who's next? Courtney Love. Oh boy, Courtney Love. That's a good one. If you would like to know a little bit about why I am the way I am, let me put it this way. Courtney Love reminds me of my mom. And that's not a good thing. Out of control, crazy, alcoholic. You invite Courtney Love to a barbecue, and here's what's going to happen. She's going to have a bottle of wine that's like halfway done. She's already shit-faced. It's like 2 p.m, and she's going to decide that she's got a bone to pick with you. She's going to start screaming at you in front of everyone else and start crying and finish the bottle of wine, and then she's going to like drop it, and it's going to break everywhere. And everyone who is not insane is going to be like, oh, wow, look at the time. We should probably get going. And you're like, what do you mean? It's 2 p.m. You're like, yeah, well, it's getting late. I got to work. And I'm like, nobody wants to be around her. That's my mom. And that is what Courtney Love reminds me of. I know her energy a mile away. She is a terrible vocalist also, like really bad. I would say she's a good front person because she's incredibly good at being loud and obnoxious and getting attention. Horrible vocalist. She is not good. Have I heard her isolated live guitar? No. Is it good or bad? Look at my face. Do I want to be friends with Courtney Love? Fuck no. Hell fucking no. I don't want to be friends with Courtney Love. I don't want Courtney Love to even live in the same fucking county as me. I don't want to have anything to do with this woman, but I can't put her on the same tier as Austin Carlisle because, I mean, unless she killed Kurt, which I don't think she did, she's just crazy. She's not a horrible person like Austin Carlisle, so I would put her on the D tier. Davey Havok. That's a good one. David Havok of AFI. Where do we think he belongs? First of all, which Davey Havok do we even want to talk about? Do we want to talk about the bearded heartthrob Davey Havok, or do we want to talk about Karen hair Davey Havok? Well, this is my favorite Davey Havok, is the Karen hair. He definitely looks like he wants to speak to the manager when he decided that he wanted to start wearing blue eyeshadow and have the streaky Karen hair. I don't know what he was thinking. But I like it. I think he's a very good vocalist. You know, is he like a virtuoso? Probably not, but he's a strong vocalist for sure. Very good front man, and continues to get better and better over time. You know, if you compare their early stuff to the later stuff, like he just keeps getting better. Seems like an awesome dude. I've never met him, but we do have a lot of friends. Never heard a single bad thing about Davey Havok, even from people who think AFI is corny. AFI, and specifically Davey, have managed to do something very difficult, which is to have the respect of asshole hardcore kids. Everybody loves Davey. Everyone loves AFI, like universally respected. I would definitely have him over for a barbecue. Here's how much of a top bro I think Davey Havok is. So he's been vegan for a long time, right? And you guys know how vegans are. You know, you invite them over and you're like, hey, well, you know, help yourself. And like, oh, well, you know, I can't really eat anything here, so whatever, you know, because I'm vegan. They make a big deal out of it. And you're like, oh, well, you know, we could go get you some. No, it's okay. It's okay. You know, I can't eat anything, but that's okay. But here's how awesome Davey Havok is. If you invited him to the barbecue and there was nothing vegan there, he wouldn't say anything. He'd be like, oh, it's okay. I already ate. I'm full. The man might be starving. His stomach could be growling. He could be so hungry that he's ready to chew his arm off, but he wouldn't say anything. He would just quietly suffer because he didn't want to be an asshole. He didn't want to be difficult. Exactly. He'd be the cool vegan. That is what a top guy Davey Havok is. That's what I think. Seems like a great guy. I'm going to put him on the A tier. Solid dude. Alyssa White Glues from Arch Enemy. How about that? Is that how you say her last name? She's Canadian. I always wondered where she was from. She is Canadian. Isn't she also vegan? You know, I've never really been a huge fan of Arch Enemy, but let's listen. I feel like she's probably a very strong vocalist, but I've never really paid attention enough to say. But let's listen. Dating Doyle from the Misfits, that's right. Yeah, Doyle's vegan and he looks amazing. I would imagine he's probably doing quite a bit of HGH as well. But he's great. Damn intro. It's been a minute. Ugh. The fucking fingerless leather gloves. This band is so unbearably corny, I'm sorry. This is Vakencore. She's damn good. It's true. How do you palm me with leather gloves? That's a good question. She's damn good. The song fucking sucks. It's too bad. She's such a good vocalist. It's unfortunate that she's in such a dreadful band, but she seems to be enjoying it, and that's what's important. Now, where does she belong on our tier list? Well, damn good vocalist. I don't know too much about her as a person, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb. I'll just take a bet. She's probably a cool person. I'd be happy to have her over for a barbecue. I'll say this. I don't know anything about her, but it seems unlikely to me that if you invited Alyssa over for a barbecue, that she would misbehave, right? You know, at worst, she might just be on her phone, you know, taking care of some business, returning some texts and stuff. And hey, that's okay. People are busy. I don't fault people for that. So, damn good vocalist. Seems like a cool person. You know, her and Tati, they can come over. Probably know each other. Feel like B tier is a good solid place for her. All right. Well, that does it for this edition of the Front Person tier list. Volume 3. Stay tuned for Volume 4 in the future.